Welcome to Cunningham Piano. I'm Hugh Sung. A few weeks ago, I posted a video about 3 ways that piano teachers can teach their lessons online. And in that video, I covered 3 levels of technology that you'll need to do so, from the most basic setup to the most advanced. And what I was trying to share was what I feel is the ideal setup where you can have multiple camera angles, one on the side, one from above to show the hands and the keys, and a good quality sound input system, so you have good quality sound coming through the lesson, as well as the ability to share the music, your sheet music, with your students, and when they can see you annotate and draw markings, that's a great way to teach online. Now, I've gotten a lot of feedback. A lot of folks have said that they found the video very helpful, so I'm so glad that helped. But I also got a lot of feedback from folks who've said, you know, we'd love to do all these things, but it seems really expensive. I've got some very fancy gear to optimize these lessons, but I realize that, you know, not everybody's going to want to go out and get a $1,000 microphone or a $1,000 lapel and all this other stuff. So what I thought I'd do is I wanted to see if I can show you a way that you can do all of these things on the cheap, okay? So, by the way, I am shooting this video using a video conferencing software called Zoom. I apologize if it seems a little jerky. It's because I'm running lots of programs all at the same time trying to capture the video, but also trying to capture my screen. So it may not be as smooth as what it normally should be. So don't take this as a 100% accurate reflection of what a Zoom lesson would look like. But it's going to be close. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to cover first sound settings, getting the best sounds on the cheap. And then we're going to explore some cheap multi-camera options and even a pretty cool way to show your music, okay? So with that in mind, let's start off by addressing video conferencing software in general. Now, the issues with video conferencing software is that they're designed for speaking. They're not really designed out of the box for music, and let me explain. So what happens is when you're having a video conference, when you're talking to somebody, the software by default is trying to listen for whenever you're talking and it detects the change in volume. It'll increase the sensitivity of the mic to capture your voice. As soon as you stop speaking or there's a little pause, the mic level will drop. And it's trying to cut out any background noise or any rumbles or hums that are low enough to not interfere with your voice. So the microphone levels is constantly jumping up and down depending on the volume of your voice activating it. Okay? That's great for making your speech really clear, but it can be a real nightmare for trying to listen to music, because if the microphone level keeps jumping up and down, the music, especially when it gets quiet, can get cut off. All right? So those are some of the issues that we're going to overcome. Now, I'm going to be using one of the most popular video conferencing apps out there right now called Zoom. And Zoom has some really neat advanced audio setting features that I'm going to walk you through. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go into my desktop. Oh, by the way, I should mention, the settings I'm going to show you only work with laptops or desktop computers. Try as I might, I was looking for these settings for mobile devices like iPads and smartphones. I can't find them anywhere. So maybe in a future update, Zoom will add those customization features to these mobile devices. But for now, for the best audio quality, you and ideally both you and your students should be working with laptops or desktop computers. Okay, so having said that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my laptop over here, and I'm going to go and log into my account at Zoom. I'm going to go to zoom.us and then go into my account. After I've logged in, I'm going to go into Settings. And then within the Settings page, go into In-Meeting Advanced. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down until we get to this section over here. You may probably see these 2 settings turned off. Now you want to give the option to allow users to select stereo audio in their client settings, okay? And you also want, this is the really important one, allow users to select original sound in their client settings. So you want to turn both of these things on, all right? Now, once you have that set up, then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Zoom app itself. Okay, so now I'm in Zoom, and move my mouse around, you can see the toolbar appearing on the bottom. Okay, now go into the audio settings right next to the microphone here. Okay, and then within audio, there's a couple more settings we need to change. You may see this checked in. If you see this checked in, automatically adjust microphone volume. This is the culprit that's changing your volume to try to cut out the noise levels that are below its threshold. Uncheck this, okay? You may also want to enable stereo. Now keep in mind, if you're enabling stereo, there's a good chance that this will increase the bandwidth, okay, because there's more information going through. So it's up to your discretion. If you find that enabling stereo is slowing down the video or making it hard to see, or if your internet bandwidth isn't wide enough, you might want to uncheck this. But I'm going to go ahead and check this right now. One more thing, we're going to click on Advanced. Okay? And now here, there are a couple more settings. Suppress persistent background noise. This is the kind of noise where if you're hearing a hum or a buzz from electric lights, Zoom will try to cut that out. We actually want to disable that. So if that's set to auto, click over here and set it to disable. Same thing for suppress intermittent background noise. If it's set to auto, click over here and change that to disable. Now for echo cancellation, unfortunately, there's no way to disable that, so we're just going to leave it at auto, the default setting here. Okay? Go back, and that's it. Those are all the settings that you need. And now, one last thing is, when you have original sound activated, okay, for your meetings, you should see a button up here, okay, that gives you the option to turn off or turn on the original sound. Right now I have it on over here. So you need to remember to click that to take advantage of Zoom's optimal sound settings. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is I'd like to get into optimizing the sound quality using microphones. And as I mentioned in my previous video, for the top quality, I have some very expensive $1,000 microphones, which are great. And if you can afford that, that's wonderful. The sound quality coming from your end is going to be terrific. However, it may be difficult to ask your students to invest $1,000 in their microphones. And believe it or not, it's almost more important for the student to upgrade their sound quality, because if you're sitting there listening to them and their sound quality is awful, it's going to make for a very painful lesson on your side. Whereas if your audio is great for them, of course, the student's going to benefit. So it really is something that we want to address on both ends. Okay? Maybe you want to invest in a higher quality sound system for yourself to convey a more professional image and sound. But for your students, you might want to help them explore some less expensive options that still get them to sound as good as they can at a reasonable budget. Okay, so what I'd like to do first is start off with a bass line. I'm going to go ahead and play so that you can hear with my professional microphone here. Oh, I'm going to just change the view really quickly. This is the view of, I've got this wonderful Audix microphone. This is the Audix SCX25A. Wonderful $1,000 microphones and terrific sound quality. And right now I have a DPA lapel microphone that picks up my voice beautifully too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. You've been hearing me talk, okay, so you can hear what this sounds like from my speech. Now I'm going to play. Okay, I'm going to play a very soft selection of music on purpose, and I want you to listen for how well it captures the very tail end of the decay of the sound. Okay, so here we go. So that is a really good kind of baseline for us to start comparing all these other sound levels. Okay, now I'm going to show you what it sounds like with just a computer. No extra microphones, no extra cameras, just the bass level so we can hear what the issues are. Okay, so let's switch over to my MacBook. Okay, so this is what it looks and sounds like using the webcam built into my computer and using the built-in microphone. Okay, nothing else has been added. The only thing I've done is to optimize Zoom's audio settings. Okay, so I do have, actually, hold on, let me do this again. I forgot. Turn on original sound. So anytime I switch camera views or whatever microphone, I've got to remember to turn on original sound. To always make sure you take a look at that in the upper left-hand corner. So this is what it sounds like when I'm speaking. Now let's hear what it sounds like when I play. Now this computer is actually a lot closer than I would like it to be. It's up to you. I prefer my computer to be a little further away, a little bit higher. But so it'll probably pick up a little bit more than it normally would. But let's go ahead and see, just kind of compare. So here's the same selection. Let's play this through. Okay, now you may notice, of course, it's maybe not as bad because I'm in a very, very large space, but if you're in a smaller room, you can probably hear there's some echo. There's a lot of room echo around me. And of course, like I said, we only have one microphone trying to pick up everything around me. So you have the background room sounds, you've got the piano not ideally placed, and that's the effect that I think a lot of folks complain about when they say it sounds like you're underwater. Right? That's because the computer is picking up this ambient sound of the room, the space, and that's why echo cancellation and noise, when people in the video conferencing software is trying to automatically cut those things down, that's what it's trying to avoid. But of course, with music, we need to try to hear everything, which makes it really important to have a dedicated microphone for your voice, and ideally a dedicated microphone for your piano. But we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so now I've got a couple of inexpensive USB microphones that I'd like to compare. But before we do that, I'm going to just go ahead and switch over to my good camera, and we'll start microphone shopping. Okay, so now let's compare a selection of some USB microphones that I've been collecting over the years, and let's see what the differences in the sound quality are. So we're going to start off, right now we're still hearing myself through this $1,000 DPA lapel microphone. I'm going to switch over to this Audio-Technica AT2020 USB microphone. Now, by the way, all of the products that I'm going to be showing and demonstrating here for you, I'm going to actually have links in the show notes below. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can easily find them using those links. Okay? So right now, let's switch over to the Audio-Technica 2020 USB. I'm going to go over here, and by the way, this is when I've got this multi-port adapter for my computer, so I've got all these things connected. All right? So if you want to use more than one microphone, this is a great way to do that. Okay, so if I need to have two microphones, I can get one of these closer to me, the other one closer to the piano. But anyway, let's just hear the Audio-Technica by itself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the audio settings over here by clicking on the arrow next to the microphone. You can see I can go ahead and now select the AT2020 USB. Now you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, I keep forgetting this, you need to turn on original sound again when you switch your audio source. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully we're now hearing the Audio-Technica with the ideal audio settings within Zoom. Okay, now this is what it sounds like when I'm talking to the microphone. Let's hear what it sounds like when I play. Okay, so that's the Audio-Technica AT2020 USB microphone. This is about $120, $150 or so. Okay, so it's one of the more expensive USB microphones. Although I've seen other USB microphones, like there's one from Apogee, I can't remember the name of it, that runs like $300, $350. So you can get quite expensive. And I've heard very, very good things about the Blue Yeti microphone, but again, that's also quite expensive. So this is a little less expensive than those microphones. Anyway, let's move on to another microphone over here. I'm going to switch over to this microphone. Before I switch the sound, I'm going to explain what this is. This is the Blue Snowball. The Blue Snowball. It doesn't look very blue now because I've had this for about 10 years, so all the white plastic has turned yellow. But hey, it's a classic microphone. It's been around for a long time. This is this blue snowball, and this one I think is about $50, $60 or so, okay? And what's nice about it, it comes, they package this wonderful little tripod over here, which is kind of cool. I like that it kind of, you can just set it right on your piano like I'm doing right over here. So give me a second, I'm going to switch over. Let's switch over to the blue snowball USB microphone. All right, here we go, blue snowball. Turn on original sound. Okay, so now you should be hearing me talk through the blue snowball. And let's again play some music and see what it sounds like. Okay, so about a $50, $60 microphone for this one, the blue snowball. Now I've got another interesting option over here. This is another microphone. This is called the Samsung Meteorite. And it is one of the cheapest USB microphones I've seen in the market. It actually, this is the actual microphone itself. Just kind of comes with this nice little kind of cup holder over here. All right, and just kind of sits there. The tail of it goes into this area here. This is the front of the microphone. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little blue light that indicates that the power is coming through. Let me see if I can angle it a little bit. Well, anyway, trust me, this is blue. So this is the Samsung Meteorite, okay? Now, the thing I'm not crazy about is the fact that the USB cable here is so short, and it's not ideal. So you're going to have to keep your computer either really, really close, or you're going to need to get some sort of a USB cable extender. And I'll have links to, I actually use cable extenders for my webcams, okay? So you can certainly add a cable extender to your computer if you need a little more length. But let me switch the microphone now to the Samsung Meteorite. Let's go over here, Samsung Meteorite mic, here we go. Go back to turning on original sound. Okay, so this is the sound of my voice through the Samsung Meteorite, okay? This is what it sounds like when I'm talking. Again, my voice is, a good distance from the mic here to the mic. The mic is now also pointed sort of towards the piano. Let's see what the music sounds like through this microphone. Okay, so that's the Samsung microphone. Now, that again, like I said, that's about $30, I think. So it's one of the cheapest USB microphones that I was able to find on the internet. Now, I've got a really interesting idea. Now, I do a lot of video blogging because I travel around the world. I love visiting restaurants and trying different foods. And so I'm a pretty active vlogger on my personal website at hughsung.com. And I use a microphone that I carry with me everywhere. It connects easily to my smartphone. Okay, I can use it right on my smartphone, or I can use it with my DSLR mirrorless Canon camera, the M50 that I use all the time. And this microphone is great. It's made by Boya. And it's just a lapel microphone, but with a really, really long cable. Well, I was really pleased to see that Boya makes not only a single lapel microphone version, but also a dual lapel microphone version that I have over here. So I've got, look at all this tangle of cables here. This is crazy. Look at that. It has a mini jack, which would go into your computer's headphone jack, okay? And yeah, or your smartphone, or potentially your iPad, or and if you have an iPad that doesn't have, let me just pull this up here. If you have an iPhone or iPad that doesn't have a headphone jack, you can get this adapter. This is an adapter that goes into the USB-C port where you would charge that device, and this end would go and plug into the mini port over here. Okay, so that's a little accessory. Again, I'll have a link for that as well. But look, it's got two microphones. Okay, this was built for interviews. All right, so that I could easily interview somebody. Again, very long cables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this microphone. Okay, one on me. And I'm going to replace that Audix microphone. and then I'm just going to kind of clip it over there. Like I said, it's not, I don't think it's designed for music, but let's see what it sounds like. I'm just really curious to see what this would be like. Now, this is a $40 solution, but for $40 you get 2 microphones. That's pretty cool. And the key thing with microphones is, again, we want to try to isolate the sounds. If I have a microphone, like you're probably hearing with the Samsung, you're probably hearing at least some room echo because I'm so far away from this microphone with my voice. But if I have a lapel right here and another microphone over there, let's see what it sounds like. Now, I won't be able to control the levels per se for each of these microphones, so I can't really differentiate. They'll be the same level going in, but give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up, and let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so now this is the sound of me through this Boya double lavalier microphone. So this is the one on me, and I've got the other one connected to where that, I just got a little stand there, kind of clip it over there. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of pointing towards the piano, okay? And again, the other end of it plugs right into the headphone port. Now, one thing to keep in mind that I didn't mention yet is the fact that another thing I didn't talk about in the other video, some people were asking whether you should use headphones while teaching online lessons. And I think it's a really good idea because that'll help cut out any external noises, okay? And you can hear more clearly, and you're going to need some sort of a headphone splitter. So if you're using this external microphone, you would probably, and you're using headphones also, you'd probably want some sort of a headphone splitter. Now this one doesn't work, it's audio only, it doesn't record. But I'll have a link to an audio splitter if you decide to go with the Boya option. I'll have a link to a splitter that should work with both microphones and headphones at the same time, okay? So let's do the ultimate test. Let's see what this sounds like when I play the piano. Yeah, kind of crazy cables here. So what do you think? 2 microphones for the price of 1. About a $40 investment, which I think, you know, if you like this, I think this could be a pretty good solution, particularly for students. You know, if they don't want to spend a lot on microphones, but you want to be able to hear them speak clearly and at least have something on their piano, this could be great. Now, I think the microphone, the Boya double lavalier microphone, tends to be a little on the hot side, tends to be a little bit loud. So again, you might want to experiment with moving the microphone back a little bit further away from the piano, you know, finding the optimal place. Maybe you don't want to have it too close to your voice. You know, you'll have to experiment with that. But I think it's a pretty creative solution for an inexpensive microphone solution. Okay, so now I want to get into exploring multicam options. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. As I mentioned in my previous video, one easy way to add another camera angle to your streaming lessons is to invest in a webcam. And here is a webcam I have over my shoulder over here. This is one made by Logitech. But you know, even webcams are not cheap. This one I think is about $100. But it enables me to switch views. So I'll give you an example. So right now, of course, I've got my high quality camera here. And if I want to switch the camera view, I go into Zoom, go into the bottom next to the camera here, and then I can choose a different camera. So I've got a couple connected over here. Here's the HD Pro webcam by Logitech. And this is the view over my shoulder. Let me see if I can fix this view a little bit so we can see my hands a little bit better than that. There we go. Okay, so this is the view of my hands, okay? So if I want to talk about fingering, it's a little easier to see, okay? You can see the fingerings a little more clearly. Again, it's something that I always emphasize. Of course, it might be more ideal if, you know, if you're using the camera more directly overhead rather than an angle. But again, you work with what you have. So, but again, that's about a $100 investment. And you all probably would also need a USB cable extender like I have with this one so that it goes, you can kind of reach, you know, your port extender going to your computer. Now, I want to show you something that's even more impressive, okay? So hopefully a lot of you have some sort of a smartphone, whether it's an iPhone. In my case, I love my Samsung Galaxy over here. It's kind of an old phone, but hey, still works. Did you know you can use your smartphone as another camera? Let me show you how. Let's go into Zoom. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite another participant. I'm basically going to invite myself. I'm going to send an email. Okay. Simply send an email to myself. There we go. And send that. Okay. Okay, it's going to go to my Gmail app over here. And here we go. And there it is. There's a link right there. Just tap on the link. And if I have Zoom installed, it'll open up the app, or it'll prompt me to install the Zoom. You can give your camera a name, if you want to call it a camera. I'm just going to leave it as Galaxy or Camera 2, whatever you want. Okay. And there you go. And here, I've got a waiting room over here. I'm going to go ahead and admit this person. Okay. By the way, you can turn that waiting room thing off if you want. But hey, take a look at that. Now, you can't see anything on the screen yet because I have to go and I have to tap on start video. Excuse me. Go ahead and tap on this. And now, hey, can you see the screen? There you go. Now I have another camera angle. Look at this, okay? So now this is a great way. You want to put your phone up someplace or show your fingerings. Okay, here you go. All right. So that is another angle right there. How cool is that? Okay. Now, if you've got multiple camera angles, what you can do is switch between them by clicking on these three pips over here, and you can go pin video. And that'll keep that video view up. And that's why you can switch between your camera views. Okay? How cool is that? So I've got my second camera over here, and then if I want to switch back to my phone view, go ahead and do the same thing, pin video, boom. There you go. See? Now I haven't spent any more money. I just used my smartphone, hopefully that you all have as well. And you can use this as your secondary angle, okay? Without spending any more money. All right. Now, so let's take that same principle and let's do the same thing and let's get the sheet music. Now, again, assuming if you happen to be using an iPad, like I'm doing here, I can show my iPad screen, okay? By the way, you could show, there's ways that you can show the screen from your desktop too. Okay, so for example, if you just go down here and click on Share Screen, you'll be given the option to share your desktop, have a whiteboard here, a lot of different things that you can show right from your computer. Okay, so you don't necessarily need an iPad. But if you happen to have an iPad, like I do, let's do the same thing. I'm going to invite myself, send another invitation, and this is important. Okay, if I was trying this earlier, I can't reuse the same invitation. Apparently, you have to re-invite. So I'm going to send it to myself again. Okay. Send myself an invitation. All right. Now I'm going to go into my iPad, and let me switch to the iPad view over here. All right. Now on my iPad, I'm going to go ahead and go into my Gmail app. Okay. Here's a new meeting email. I'm going to go ahead and open that. Click on that. Open it in a browser, and again, you should have Zoom hopefully already installed. All right. I'm not going to use the internet audio. I'm just going to, because I don't need to have sound coming out of here. I'm just going to cancel that. And there we go. And now to share the screen, now it's sharing the camera view, go ahead and go to the top and tap on Share Content. You'll see this little, if I tap in the middle of the screen, this toolbar comes down, and you'll see this little icon with, this looks like a green box with an arrow coming up at the top of it. It says Share Content. Tap on that. I'm going to share the screen, okay? And it's going to bring up another menu saying Screen Broadcast, Zoom, and then I'm going to tap on Start Broadcast, which is on the bottom over here. And it'll give you a little countdown, and now the screen is being shared. Take a look at this, okay? I'm going to go back to my sheet music reading app, music, okay? And you can probably see it on the screen over here. How cool is this? And now, if I'm writing my markings, I'm going to say, okay, let's make sure we get your fingerings over here. Use a 1-5, use a 1-3. Make sure you watch out for those, that chord over here. There's a flat over here. I can do all different colors. How cool is this? Okay, let me just kind of get this phone to stop chirping at me. But take a look at that. I can do all my markings, and the student can see what I'm writing. Yeah? There we go. That's the way you can share your screen, you know. And then again, I'm going to go back over here. And so, yeah, and then you can switch. But how cool is that? Now I can have the view. Let me go ahead and just kind of share that one more time, just to so I have that as an option. Share the screen, start the broadcast. So sharing the screen kind of shows everybody the music on the screen, as you can see here. All right. And if I need to jump back, you know, if I need to jump back to the camera views, I need to stop sharing that, apparently. Let me see if there's a way to do this. No? Okay, so that kind of takes over the whole thing. View options, let's take a look. So you can go, if you want to turn this off, you can do this. You can turn off, go into view options, and go into stop participants sharing. Okay, there we go, and then it just jumps right back. Okay, so you can control who shares the screen. Okay, so there you go, and then you're back to your camera view over here. Isn't that awesome? Now, by the way, I'm using a really cool app by the name of Music. I'm going to switch my camera view one more time. Okay, so this Music app is made by some French developers, and I've recently been really falling in love with it. I brought my second iPad because I want to show you something really cool. Now, what you can do is you can actually share music with your students. If they have an iPad and if you have an iPad, now you can of course show the markings on the screen like I just showed you by adding yourself as another participant. But if you want to just kind of write on the screen, not fiddle around with the camera angle views, look what I can do. I have this open as a project. I'm going to hit this sync button over here. Okay. Now this is synchronized. I'm going to tell my student, okay, go to your iPad, do the same thing, hit the sync button, and look at this. It's going to synchronize. Let's go to that last page. Look at that! Now the student in turn can do something. Let's see, can say maybe thank you. Do something really cool. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and hit done over here. Hit the sync button over there. The student is synchronizing their marking. I'm going to go over here, synchronize at the same time. And then within seconds, look at that! Now the student's marking has come over here. How amazing! So that is an app called Music, and I'll probably do another tutorial just on some of the things that you can do for remote teaching, which Music is really built from the ground up to do. It's built to collaborate with other musicians in groups, but ideally also for private teaching online. So you can be writing on your music, write some fingerings down, or create activities, right? Share some activities and ask your student, draw the names of these notes over here. They do something, they synchronize it, you can see the results and you can make the corrections right back and forth. So the screen is just dedicated, you know, to the hand positions, the music is focused on the music. So if you happen to have these devices, an iPad, a smartphone, you can use them as multicam devices without having to buy more cameras. And so these are some really, really cool options that you don't have to spend a lot of extra money for. Okay, so hopefully this will help you to use what you have to get started, to teach your piano lessons online, and make them the best experience possible for yourself and for your students. And again, for your students too, some really affordable microphone options. You decide which one you like the best, and hopefully it's not that expensive that you can encourage your students to invest to improve their sound quality so that when they're sending their music to you, you have a much better way of determining their progress and to give them really good musical advice. And remember, at the end of the day, it's not the gear, it's you. You, the teacher, your creativity, your passion, your joy. That's what's most important to convey through an online piano lesson. So never forget that. Don't get overwhelmed with the gear. Work with what you can. These are some tips to build your digital studio a little bit at a time, hopefully a little bit more affordably with these options. And again, the links are going to be in the show notes below. You can go right to them and get whatever you decide. Okay, I'll add in a few extra accessories and like cables and connectors so that you can, I'll try to kind of group them together in terms of what will go best together. All right, so that's a quick look at some cheap options for teaching online piano lessons. I hope you found this helpful. If you do, be sure to subscribe so that we can let you know whenever we have new videos. For Cunningham Piano, I'm Hugh Sung. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.